Aptera accessories. A couple weeks ago, Aptera released a rendering of the new chassis for the launch edition cars with their new integrated drive unit. The integrated drive unit is made by a company called Vitesco, a German company that is a division of the Continental Group. The motor is known as the EMR3. This integrated drive unit that they have selected is used by 10 different brands and in 20 different models. This is a very proven drive line. The only issue with them switching over to this new drive line, they've lost all-wheel drive on the launch editions. So with this, they will no longer be using the Elaphe hub motors that we've heard about for so long. I don't think this is a bad idea. They've been working on this for over a year, but with this development, I think I might know what their all-wheel drive solution is.
Okay.
Now, the picture you see on the screen on the left-hand side is a picture of the original suspension design that used the Elaphe hub motors. On the right is the rear suspension from the new updated Vitesco EMR3 chassis. Now, both these suspensions look very, very different, but they both use the same principle that Aptera has patented. It is a four-link style rear suspension. So what that means, when the rear wheel goes over a bump, the wheel actually travels up and down, where a traditional three-wheel vehicle would use a motorcycle style swing arm rear suspension, and that wheel would move in an arc. With a swing arm style rear suspension, you can have odd handling dynamics that aren't beneficial in certain situations. So this suspension design, even though they look very, very different, they do follow that same patented principle that Aptera has. But with the photo on the right, with it being the new updated design, it got me very curious because Aptera wouldn't have had to do this change this drastically if all they had to do was basically remove the hub motor from the design, because the hub motor would bolt to this suspension arm. They could have removed the hub motor and then designed a bearing assembly or something to hold the wheel to bolt to that suspension arm, and then the wheel would bolt to that. So I got looking at the new rendering on the right, and you can see in the center of the one arm, it looks like there's a circle part of the casting, something that could be round that could go there. And there are four bolts. So it kind of got me thinking that maybe Aptera's plan is to use like an electronic all-wheel drive system, or what you would call a mild all-wheel drive system, kind of like what Toyota uses with the Prius. So Toyota Priuses that have all-wheel drive actually use a 7 horsepower rear-mounted motor that only engages between 0 and 6 miles an hour, but depending on your driving conditions, can actually work all the way up until 43 miles an hour. So by looking at this one photo, I think this is an Easter egg. That circular shape in that casting, and the reason that whole rear suspension arm was changed, was to accept a small horsepower electric motor that they could use to give the vehicle all-wheel drive. Now you might wonder, 7 horsepower, would that be enough? Well, Toyota has been able to show with their vehicle they could, but depending on, when Aptera would want their all-wheel drive system to work, it'd be very easy for them to find a 7 to 20 horsepower motor to fit into the shape of that casting. And actually, Steve from Aptera Owners Club did a very good video where he calculated the amount of horsepower needed to drive a car down the highway on flat level road. I'll link that video down in the description. So I think this is a really interesting idea that this is already built into that Aptera design to accept this motor. Comment down below with what you think. Do you think this is the solution, that we're looking at an Easter egg that you could easily fit a motor in that suspension arm, and that's why it's changed. Also, if you'd like me to do a side-by-side comparison of the old Alafe hub motor chassis with compared to the new Vitesco chassis that this information I pulled from, also comment that down below. We'll see you in the next video.